This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to a special 30-minute edition of Here and Now. Right across the country, events are being held to mark Truth and Reconciliation Day. Admission is free at the rooms in St. John's, where Indigenous art and film are on display, as well as exhibits encouraging people to pause, ponder, and reflect on Canada's relationship with Indigenous peoples. The rooms is sharing audio, video, and written stories from residential school survivors online. It's part of what it calls the Healing and Commemoration Collection. It's also looking to identify some of the students whose faces are featured in an exhibit on Labrador residential schools. Many lost their cultural identity at these schools, and the room says it wants to give a name to the former students.
The National Truth and Reconciliation Day holds space for every Canadian, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to grapple with this part of our history, to honor those who lost their lives, and to think about ways each of us can support survivors and be better allies.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau attended an event on Parliament Hill today along with Mary Simon, Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General. Similar ceremonies are being held from coast to coast. The federal statutory holiday started last year and is intended to remember children who died after being forced to attend residential schools and to honor the survivors. Well, this National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is about acknowledging Canada's history and repairing the country's relationship with Indigenous peoples. On the south coast of the island, the people of Mi'kmaq, or Conn River, were not sent to residential schools, but still, Chief Mi'kmaq Joe says Mi'kmaq culture was similarly stripped away.
Saddest things in our history is that we had one priest who showed up here in the 1920s and outlawed the language actually from the church, and we did have a Mi'kmaq teacher at the time teaching Mi'kmaq how to write and read Mi'kmaq, and of course he fired her and brought in someone that spoke only English and forbid anyone to speak language in the church or the school. What we're doing now is teach language in the school, not all the way up to grade 12, we're not quite there yet. We're still in the mode of learning the language ourselves. And when we get enough fluent speakers and teachers, then we can actually go into the school. What's more important is that we have an immersion program where families can learn to speak the language, because right now when kids go home in the evening after school, their parents can't speak the language. But that's going to be the key to revival of our language, is immersion.
Well, today is also known to some as Orange Shirt Day. It began a few years ago to encourage the conversation around trauma caused by residential schools. In St. John's, this year's Orange Shirt was designed by grade 6 student Frankie Kelly. 100% of the sales from the shirts will go towards building a residential school memorial garden.
I got this idea because in either 5th or 4th grade, we did this how to draw video of how to draw holding a heart hand. I knew the story of Orange Shirt Day, and I decided that that would be good for the shirt. I forget the name of the person, but they were going to residential school, and someone in their family bought them a brand new orange shirt for the first day of school, but they took that away when she got there. I was pretty excited, and I couldn't believe that my shirt got chosen. So this is the holding hand heart, and I made bubbly letters for every child matters, and also a heart for the V. Well, since my whole class learned it, it wasn't really just my project. It was kind of like the whole classes, even though they weren't there. And I was just the sender and the drawer. I never really done anything that really helped the community before. This doesn't really help it that much, but still.
Oh, it helps. Well, in other news, residents on the southwest coast are still uncovering problems with electricity, structural damage to properties, and environmental issues. The mayor of Port aux Basques says crews will continue working through the weekend, clearing roadways of debris. He says tremendous headway has been made so far, but there's still plenty to do.
There's a pretty big effort going on right now, but we've got one area where we had probably, I guess, the most destruction of any, we're still down there trying to come up with ways we get the streets open and make sure that it's open safely. So once these people are out of that area, we'll now move in to try to open things up a little more.
A Labrador man has been given an 8-month conditional sentence for his role in a hit-and-run death. 26-year-old Ryan Nook was struck on the highway between Happy Valley Goose Bay and Sheshatshiu in August 2020. Simon Tremblay pleaded guilty to 4 charges, including failing to remain at the scene and failure to assist an injured person. In a statement to police, Tremblay says he was aware he hit something that night, but he didn't think it was a person. The 37-year-old also has been ordered to pay a fine and is banned from driving for 2 years. Nook's mother calls the sentence a slap on the wrist, but believes someone else may have hit her son as well and hopes they will come forward. Well, the PC Party of Newfoundland and Labrador has its annual meeting this weekend. About 200 Tories are gathering at the Greenwood Hotel in Corner Brook, and some are attending virtually. Party President Shane Skinner says they're marking 50 years since the first PC government was elected in this province. Well, you are looking at a live shot of Pippi Park in St. John's, where First Light has organized a public community event. People are invited tonight to take in Inuit and First Nations drumming and ceremonies and release prayer ties into a fire in the spirit of reconciliation. Looks like a great crowd. And that is one big ship docked in St. John's Harbor. The Arcadia is carrying 1,266 passengers and is expected to leave port tonight around 10 o'clock. They had a lovely day for touring around St. John's. Stay with us. I'll have your weekend forecast coming up. Well, time for a look at the weather forecast. I'm filling in for Ashley tonight. Going to start off right off the bat. If you're planning any outdoor activities this weekend and you're wondering what's the better day, Saturday or Sunday, it's looking like Saturday is going to be the best day for pretty much everyone. I'll get to that in just a moment, but first let's have a look at what's coming this evening. Pretty nice on the island, but we do have this cloud cover and these showers pushing through the southeast coast of Labrador. So it's going to be a wet one up there on the island. Light winds on the Avalon Peninsula, 9 degrees as the overnight low and 11 degrees as the low overnight in Port aux Basques. But up in Labrador, there are those showers, some cooler temperatures as well, 4 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and right on the freezing mark in Labrador City, 0. There are fairly strong winds as well, gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour. So this is tomorrow. You can see some of those showers continue on the northern peninsula and down the west coast, but the rest of the island is looking fantastic, really clear. We do have a chance of some light showers or potentially flurries for western Labrador, but overall it's looking pretty nice. And temperature-wise, 18 degrees in St. John's tomorrow. And if you're wondering if that's warm for this time of year, the average temperature for October 1st is around 13 degrees, so it is a little bit warmer than usual. Some fairly strong winds, southwesterly winds, 30 gusting to 50, and some beautiful sunshine across the Avalon Peninsula and moving into central as well. You can see that cloud cover and a chance of showers in the afternoon for Grand Falls, Windsor, but 19 degrees as the high tomorrow. It's like summer weather. And on the west coast, a chance of some afternoon showers as well and a bit more cloud cover. Temperature's not too bad, 17 degrees in Humber Valley. And moving up to the Straits, Lansaloo, 11 degrees tomorrow. A few more showers happening up there. And for the rest of Labrador, there's that chance of some light showers or some flurries for Labrador City, and 4 as the high. Breezy along the Labrador coast as well. So looking ahead to Sunday, you can see more cloud cover on the island than there will be on Saturday, and a few more scattered showers as well. Labrador looking not too bad though. Chance of some showers or flurries still for Lab City on Sunday. On the island, looking at 11 degrees and some cloud cover and showers potentially for St. John's and for the rest of the island, really. So as we begin the work week, looking pretty nice actually. Temperatures in the mid-teens for Tuesday and Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud there. Similar story for central Newfoundland. Some nice temperatures there on Wednesday as we get to 18 degrees. For western Newfoundland, similar story there as well. For the whole island, it's looking pretty consistent. For eastern Labrador, 16 degrees on Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Pretty quiet weather-wise next week for pretty much everyone. And we'll end off with our viewer photo of the day. This one comes from Conception Bay South, and just beautiful sunset. This is from last night. Sailor's delight, of course, that red sky. Thank you so much to Jonathan Curlett for sending this in. Mi'kmaq First Nation wants to see Mi'kmaq culture thrive. Here and Now took a trip to Conn River ahead of this year's powwow to gather stories from the community, and most of the people we met spoke about preservation. Here's our visit to the Glen John Arts and Crafts Center.
I wish there was more people that was interested in it, because it is a culture and I want to keep it going. But I don't know about the young ones these days. They comes in, but they don't stay. Yeah, so hopefully now, one of those years, they'll realize how much the culture means to them, and they'll probably just keep going, right?
We're going to keep it alive if we can. And that's why we would like to see, passing it on now to the younger generation so that it could be there when we're gone, It's to sin and to let it go with us.
I'm just a small part of this big production here. And as time goes on, there's less workers and the demand is still there. So we're really hoping that that changes somewhat in the future.
What do you think that would take?
Oh my God, I don't know. Because we've tried everything. But I don't know why I come Like the young ones are not interested in it or something. You got the small ones that interest us, but you know, the ones that's starting to work and everything, it seems like it just goes on like, I don't know why. I don't think they have enough education about it. The culture and everything, it was important to carry on. Like Marlene and Anniversaries, they pass it on to me. Now, it'd be nice if we could pass it on to the next ones, right? But no, they seem like they're not interested.
What's the solution, do you think? How do you get younger people interested?
I don't know, we're still working at that. Yeah, we got a few, you know, get the younger ones. And you know, like when they grow up and get their education, I don't blame them for, you know, like for going away and getting better in their life. You know, I appreciate what they're doing. I mean, it's hard work. You know, like you gotta love it. We got a few that's, you know, like I said, it's going to stay here with us, and hopefully we get a few more. You know, like, but wouldn't deny them their education and moving on to a better, you know, what for their life, right?
What do you think would need to happen to get people like you, the younger generation, coming up and learning like you did?
You know, Carolyn, that's a really good question. And I'm really, I don't have the answer for that. We wish we did, because maybe then there would be more here, yeah.
Maybe the more they see this.
Maybe the more they see it, yeah. Maybe the more they see it, maybe they'll be like, yeah, I'd like to try that. Yeah, I guess that's our dream at the end of the day, yeah.
Retired Judge James Igloliorte spent much of his legal career as the province's only Indigenous justice. Ahead of the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, he sat down with on-the-go host Anthony Germain. Here's part of their conversation.
The year's gone by fast, and I wonder what's your assessment of how we're doing in terms of moving in the right path towards reconciliation?
I believe we are. I think that from my perspective at least, there are only so many things that you can put yourself out in public for. For me, it's once a judge, always a judge. So my personal view is I try to take a road that's not going to get me into the melee of much of the politics, but try and stay on the level of educating people. So in my view, the level of education that's happening in Canada, in this province as well, is increasing dramatically. And thank God for young people, because I think they're the ones who are the most resilient, non-Indigenous young people who are willing to accept that things may not be as they seem. And history is important to appreciate.
Here you are now involved in another Innu matter, as the Commissioner of an inquiry looking into the treatment of Innu children in the protection aspects of public policy in this province. How's that going?
I think the main thing people should understand is that the work we've been given to do, the pathway has already been set for us by the Innu, a group called the Innu Roundtable with their council, the province and their lawyers, and the politicians, as well as the Government of Canada. So they set out for us terms of reference. We reviewed them and we said, yes, we can work on that. We'll interpret them the way we want to, but we understand one thing principally, that the Innu want to be able to have jurisdiction over how child protection in their community is run through their own legal system. Canada has a template in place for Indigenous communities to take over child protection. And the province is saying, we have the actual jurisdiction over child protection, but we are willing to work with you to make changes.
So in a way, now that you're actually part of this commission, you're looking at part of the system of which you were a part.
Absolutely.
Does that give you insight, or does it taint your vision?
It should not taint my vision. I think as judges we are expected to, and our reputations out in the public. What we say, what we do are quite notorious and open, so people can refer to it. So in my view, that kind of background, 20 years since I last sat on the bench,
right,
allows me a bit of retrospection, allows me to say, well, I'm probably looking at some of my own cases here for people who who were placed into custody or some harm came to them, we know that there's been a huge amount of trauma against the entire community, and we've got to find some way of acknowledging that people who tell us they were hurt is indeed the truth. B, we've got to be able to acknowledge as a government, as a court system that it did happen, and certainly we have to hope to be forgiven for it so that we can move forward onto reconciliation.
But the forgiveness is for removing children in the sense that they were taken for what would appear to have been the good reason of trying to protect them. That caused harm to the families of which they were removed. But how do you balance the needs of the kid in that moment in time versus the harm or damage it would do to that family? I mean, doesn't the kid's needs come first?
That is the residential school story. In that sentence, you've captured how people with such a strong view of what they're doing is right can eventually turn out to be a very harmful kind of experience, particularly if it's done not only to one individual but to the community as a whole. So basically we have to acknowledge that while you may be taking a child immediately out of a harmful situation, what impacts do you have on the culture, the community, the history, the self-respect that people have for one another? If you remove their livelihood, if you remove their language, if you break up their family. And then you got to say, can we find a better way? Is the research that we do, are the stories of people that we hear allowing us to say, let's see if there's a better way to do this?
Well, that was an excerpt from On the Go host Anthony Germain's feature interview with retired Justice James Igloliorte. You can head to our website, cbc.ca, to hear more. Let's find out who's celebrating. Happy 57th anniversary to Ross and Juanita Ledrew of Boyd's Cove. Junior and Gladys Ford from Port aux Basques are also celebrating 57 years of marriage. Congratulations to Laura and Stuart Pye of Lodge Bay, who are also marking their 57th anniversary. Greetings going out to Ross and Dwitty Green of Clarenville, who are celebrating their 51st anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Lewis and Loretta Saunders of Woodstock. Wishing Jim and Linda Kennedy of Gander a happy 50th anniversary. Best wishes going out to Ed and Shirley Eastman of Grand Falls, Windsor on their 64th anniversary. David and Effie Hollett of Goose Bay are marking 61 years of marriage. Happy 65th anniversary to Henry and Edna Crocker of Greens Harbor, now living in Whiteway. Anniversary greetings going out to Mary Shepherd and Herman Shepherd in Postville, Labrador on their 61st anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Ed and Jean Hannaford of the Goulds, now living in Holyrood. Happy 55th anniversary also to Robert and Marguerite Brown from Centerville. It's a golden anniversary for Lester and Janet Blackmore of Gander. Happy anniversary to Ward and Verna Pye of Lodge Bay. Today is their 58th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Irvine and Yvonne Park of Cox's Cove, now living in Clarenville. Happy 55th anniversary to Ada and Gerard Griffin from Carbonear. Edgar and Rita Sevier are celebrating a 65th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. Happy 59th anniversary to Warren and Marion Abbott from St. John's. Happy 50th anniversary to Mickey and Valida McCarthy of Benoit's Cove. Congratulations to Elmo and Don Langdon of Gander, who are celebrating their 51st anniversary. Wishing Don and Winnie Piercy of Norman's Cove a happy 53rd anniversary. Now to some birthdays. Happy 92nd birthday to Mary Guiney in Witless Bay. Eric Reed is celebrating his 90th birthday in Port aux Basques. Happy 92nd birthday to Madeline Kavanagh of Flat Rock, now living in Torbay. Wishing Ruby Harnett of Campbellton a happy 94th birthday. Happy birthday to Bessie Taylor of Raleigh, now in St. Anthony. She just turned 96. Wishing Pearl Patey of St. Anthony a happy 91st birthday. Happy 97th birthday to Helen Humphreys of Hare Bay. Birthday greetings going out to Peter Keogh, who's turning 97. Happy birthday to Maud Reed. She's celebrating her 93rd birthday. Best wishes to Dawn Windsor, who is also celebrating a 93rd birthday. Annie Griffin turns 95 tomorrow. She's in Freshwater, Placentia Bay. Birthday greetings going out to Mary Hicks of Grand Falls, Windsor, who is celebrating her 94th birthday. Happy 92nd birthday to Reverend Lockley Fiander in St. John's. Birthday wishes to Cecil Thorne of Bayview, Twillingate, who is 94 years young. Happy birthday to Lillian Farrell. She's celebrating her 91st birthday. Happy 90th birthday to Mona McCauley of Summerside, Bay of Islands. Happy birthday to Eva Vivian of St. John's, who's celebrating her 92nd birthday today. And happy 90th birthday to Mary Hill of Lewisport. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again. Well, that is it for Here and Now. In the next half hour, we'll be airing a special program about St. Mary's First Nation in Fredericton, one of only 2 urban reserves in Atlantic Canada. From CBC New Brunswick, we hope you enjoy a feature report called Chilagarimag. We are all related. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will leave you tonight with a live shot from First Light's prayer ceremony at Pippi Park. Good night.